3 weeks out from Ironman 70.3 Swansea. It's my first triathlon of the season. I had some good workouts, I had some pretty bad workouts, which wasn't ideal this close out to a race. I had a heart rate in one of my workouts of 242 beats a minute with an average heart rate of 196. Saturday, I had my first ride out with someone, and on Sunday, I rolled my right ankle yet again, which has made me consider changing shoes because I just don't think the Adi Zeros are currently working for me. So let's dive into Monday, 3 weeks out.
That was tough. 6 rounds of 5 minutes at 275 watts, 1 minute 15 at 325 watts, and then 3 minutes at 190 watts. In relation to my FTP, at 1 minute 15 is at my FTP, so 100%. It was mentally tough because I did the first round in erg mode, just to kind of get the legs switched on and not necessarily the mind. And then the next 2 rounds I did without erg mode. But then in round 4, I noticed I just couldn't have that fight to get myself back up to the 5 minute power. So I went into erg mode, and then same in round 5, I tried again. It was getting too hard to get there, so I just put erg mode on and had to work there. And the last round, just stayed in erg mode, just did the work. So it's not a bad way to kick off this full week of training. Nice hour 25 in the saddle. Legs are feeling it now, but really happy with how that went. So into the gym this morning, and then might do a little bit upper body, very light because I'm still not cleared to lift for 4 weeks post surgery. So this will be 2.5 weeks. So that was good. Just had 5 rounds of 5 minutes with a 2 minute walk in between. Pace was at 4:20 to 4:30. Feeling pretty good, really happy with how that went. Heart did feel pretty sore after the first one, but by about round 3, really started settling. So I was really, I think it was just the shock of kind of just running at any type of intensity. But another session closer to Ironman Swansea 70.3. Tick the box, moving and grooving.
So it's been about an hour since I finished my run, and I've had the opportunity to review my information, and yeah, wild. So as a whole, good run. Felt strong, as I said in the little video before. Bit of chest pain at the early parts of the run, and probably in that first round of 5 minutes. And then for the rest of the run, it kind of just settled into like a high heart rate, but nothing too crazy. You know, I was doing relatively hard intervals, so I expected it to feel bad, but I didn't have my heart rate on my watch. I just had it on the interval setting where you can see the workout portion, nothing to do with heart rate, which is probably just as well. Now, probably just as well because reviewing the data afterwards, I had a max heart rate of 242 beats a minute. I also had an average heart rate of 196 beats per minute, it said. And you can kind of see my warm up, heart rate increasing steadily, got to around 170, which is quite high. And then it just suddenly went bang, shot up and just stayed up and pretty much stayed around, as I said, the 196 sort of range, so 200 beats a minute average, say around there for the rest of the workout. And then I got to the cool down, and it pretty much just then dropped straight back down once I got to my steady like 5:30 per kilometer effort.
Session 3 of the week now, and I've got an hour's bike. Today's bike session, I actually failed last week, so I tried to do it last week on Monday in the gym, and I just didn't have it in me really. So last week I did the first 2 blocks, so they were 12 minutes at 2:30 and then 15 minutes at 2:60. So I've just finished those 2 now, and I'm now going into the final 2 blocks, which are 2 blocks of 8 minutes, 1 at 2:30 and 1 at 2:45. So I can tell that then this week is going better. Seems mentally I'm a little bit more checked in. As you saw, yesterday's workout was pretty mental, a very, very hard run with an average heart rate apparently of 196 and a max heart rate of 242. So not too sure about that. But all I did was today, rather than going swimming, where I thought my first one back, I'm going to really probably struggle the most, I thought I'll push that to tomorrow so I can kind of give it a little bit more effort with a little bit of a recovery session today. So Caesar's session is a very light tempo one, focusing around those like zone 2 powers. I thought it shouldn't be too hard to recover from. So I'm going to finish off this bike now, and I'll catch you at the end of the workout. So that was a good session. That first 12-minute effort at 230 watts, then a 15-minute effort at 260 watts, and then 2 8-minute efforts at 230 and 245 watts. So nice and aerobic, getting a good sweat on, feeling pretty good. Really glad I kind of moved my session around for the week and chose to do the easier session today. I think my body's going to recover better from that. So another hour banked on the bike. Now just time to eat, replenish and recover.
On my easy run at the moment, as you can tell, I'm not actually running. It's because I just don't feel I've got it in me. I generally don't even feel I have an easy pace in me. So I'm currently walking. I'm walking since over there. So it's supposed to be 45 minutes easy. I've hit 30 minutes, and for the last few minutes I was really fighting to stay on and stay in. So I thought I'd do a little bit of walking, keep moving, and then try to pick myself back up. Not too stressed about it, just probably still pretty beaten up. Body feels very tired and had a bit of a poo night's sleep, but we can see how we get on carrying on in a minute. So I'm just going to let my mind get back in the game and then pick the pace back up. So had the gel, we'll see if this kind of brings me back to life a little bit. But I was supposed to be doing a bike a little bit later, but not too sure. I think I'm going to see how the day progresses. All right, I'm back in. Put a bit of Skrillex on in my headphones, pick the pace up and get myself moving again. I think it was about like a 5-minute walk. So let's finish off this run strong. Just under 8.5k, average a 5:23 pace with a 1:43 heart rate. I'm gonna say, stats wise, really happy with that. However, taking a positive out of what I would class as a failed workout is half hour into the run, I could have went across the park and finished and walked home, but I decided to turn left and continue my run and get going again. Now, one of the big reasons for that is because at the end of the day, when it comes to race day, whether you're doing a half Ironman or full distance Ironman, there's going to be times where you're going to want to rest and stop. So creating that mindset that you're not going to let a little bit of a lull dictate the rest of your performance. So I made sure I got myself running again and finished the last 15 minutes with intent, and I did. I averaged around the 5:15 pace. So, but I'm going to see how the body pulls up after this morning, because at this moment in time I don't feel fantastic. But what I will do is get myself in the cold plunge, shock the system, and see how I can kind of get grooving again and kick the day off kind of as I wanted to. Let's go. So I've just got to where the pool is, and I'm not going to lie, I'm definitely a little bit nervous, mainly because it's been a good couple of weeks since I've been swimming, and this will be the first session post heart surgery, and swimming was always something which kind of triggered off some of the episodes, because generally I think because of like the breathing and like the stress on my body, because it's not easy for me. Yeah, so a little bit nervous, but all I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of do, it's a 25-meter pool, so I think do a couple of hundreds where I just keep doing that and kind of just see what I can accumulate and go from there. So let's see how it goes. That was tough. So I'm home now, back from my swim. Really happy to have got that swim out of the way, because it was something that was kind of really sitting heavily. The fact that I haven't swam in probably about 3 to 4 weeks. So it's been a good while, and I'm getting closer and closer to race day. I don't doubt that I'll be able to swim the distance. but it's more about how I'm going to perform. And yeah, I just kind of had to really get this swim out of the way. I will still need to try and get a few extra swims in between now and race day, but really happy to hit 2,000 meters. I did have to do them as basically 100-meter intervals, and I was having around 30 to 60 seconds rest in between, just purely based on how I felt. I really didn't add too many constraints to it because I just kind of wanted to groove the swim and kind of see how I got on. So really happy to kind of tick that one. Now, tomorrow I am going on a 3-hour cycle and I'm meeting up with one of the Tri guys, Alex. So really looking forward to that, especially because I haven't had someone to cycle with in a long time. So really looking forward to that.
So it's 5:45 on Saturday morning. I'm just off to meet one of the other guys being coached by the Tri guys. Looking forward to kind of having some company on an outdoor ride. So the goal is 3 hours, so hopefully around that 90k mark. So let's see how we go. A decent 93k in the legs. Really nice to meet Alex and to get some decent kilometers in the legs. I'll tell you what though, compared to the last time I did that route, that time was so much easier. I'm pretty much averaging about 31 kilometers an hour. Still need to check all my stats out, so I'm nearly home. So I'll catch you in a minute. And we're back where we left off. Really, really nice ride. So that was 3 hours 6, hitting 93k, average speed of 30.1 kilometers an hour. So exactly kind of the pace I was after to hold for that amount of time. I know I could push more, which was really good. As a whole, really nice, as I said, really nice to go for a ride with someone else. Not only was I able to then kind of be a bit more held back slightly because I was able to be a bit more social and stuff, so I think it meant I had more legs later on into the ride compared to when I normally ride on my own. It's just go, go, go for the full duration, which then normally means I end up pushing too much. So really, really good race prep. Looking forward to the race now in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I think one more long ride next week and then it'll be, I guess, taper time. So tomorrow's either going to be a rest day or an easy long run. So I just need to check training peaks, see what the coach has put in. So I'll see you then. A lovely way to round out this week. I'm about to go for an hour run. So the run today is a bit of a threshold stimulus. Got an hour easy, but within that hour easy, I've got a little bit of intensity thrown in about 2/3 of the way through, running around the 4-minute K pace. So looking forward to kind of giving it a little bit of effort there. So let's get started. So as a whole, a pretty good run. 43 minutes, just over 8k and a 5:12 pace. The pace started out nice and cruisy, as I said. It's about 5:15, and then I got into the intervals. The intervals were supposed to be around 3:30 to 3:40, I think it was. My legs just weren't going to move that fast. So I done the first interval and got into the cool down, and I was crossing the road and I've misjudged the curb. My foot's gone off the curb and gone same ankle as I've done before. Generally worried there because the pain was pretty intense. However, after about a minute or two, I was able to kind of like walk it off, and then I kind of got back into a jog, a steady pace, and kind of finished off the run at around a 5-minute K pace, which is pretty good with a busted ankle. But I think this might be the nail in the coffin for me with these Adi Zeros. I absolutely love them. They're my favourite shoes, but they're just too narrow for me. I think I twisted my ankle now twice really badly, and I've done it quite a few times and it not impacted the run at all. I just think my feet are just too wide for them. I'm just too heavy for them. So I do think I'm going to have to make the shift to, I think, the Pumas. I think it's a Puma like DV8s or something like that. Apparently they're really light, like these Adi Zeros. Apparently they're the direct competitor to the Adi Zeros, but the big thing about them is they're wider on the base, and for someone with wide flat feet, kind of important. So that's been a full week of training. Got 3 full weeks till race day. So buzzing to kind of get stuck into these final 2 weeks of intensity and then time for the taper. So if you want to join me for this lead up to race day, to my first 70.3 of the season, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.